guys, it's Chardon, and today I have more of a sit-down, casual, chatty video for you guys. So this is a question I get a lot from people that I know in real life, whether it be coworkers or friends, family, people I go to school with, whole host of people. I always get this question. If you're so passionate about music, which obviously I am, why did I stop going to school for music? Why did I switch my major from music theory to literature? And my reasonings behind this are plentiful and complex, and they always tend to just widen the eyes of the people that I talk to about it just a smidgen. So I thought that it would be an interesting thing to talk about. Not only because I know that it is something that I have briefly tapped on here on my channel at one point, but also because I feel like there's kind of an important something that could be taken away from this story, especially if you're a younger person who's like, I wonder if this thing that I am so passionate about and love so much is something that I should turn into an actual career. So without further ado, let's just get started. So for a little bit of context, I am currently 26 years old. I graduated high school in 2011 and started college immediately after high school. And you guessed it, the field that I went into immediately once I started college was music, specifically music theory. I probably was always going to pursue teaching with it, though I would be blatantly lying if I said that the idea of possibly composing music or producing music did not enter my mind at any point, because it totally did. So naturally, I signed up for a whole litany of music classes, music theory, music history, music appreciation, all of these classes. And like, don't get me wrong, I was so excited and so more than open-minded going into all of these classes, even ones that I thought were probably going to challenge a lot of things that I had previously thought. I mean, that's kind of part of the joy and like just overall point of college, is to challenge your preconceived beliefs. I was still just so excited to be talking about music and actually like attempting to turn this into a career. But just steadily, more and more and more, as I sat through these classes and listened to these lectures and was surrounded by my fellow classmates, the more and more I just started not enjoying music anymore. Now, let me just preface this by saying that, of course, this is not going to be every music major student's experience. I am, of course, only talking about my own experience. But I think that this is an experience that could possibly be universal, not just for like music, but like maybe anything. I found that the more and more I sat in these classes, and the more and more I had to sit there and write essays about why, this triplet in this bridge, or this chord progression in, this verse made this song so dynamic and so good, or why it made it so repetitive and so bad. It started to just completely pull apart the joy that I felt when I listened to music. And I'm not saying that, this instantly made the song bad, because of course that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It just kind of tainted my view of the song. For example, let's say I was asked to write an essay or give a presentation about my favorite 21 Pilot song, which is My Blood. I would have been expected to pick apart the chorus and pick apart the verses and find what parts of it are repetitive and where the chord progressions are, and what could be different about this lyric and what could be different about this lyric. And the more and more I found myself doing that, the more and more I started noticing those things about the song, to the point where when I would listen to a certain song, all I could think of was, oh, well, this chord progression is kind of overdone, isn't it? Or, oh, this chorus, like, who hasn't heard that one before? Or they've said this word 18 times in this one song. Like, how have I never noticed that before? And when you start noticing those things, it just starts sapping the joy out of a song for you. And of course, none of these things necessarily make a song bad. Just because you have a repetitive chorus or you have a common chord progression in a song doesn't make a song bad. You can totally love a song in spite of all of those things. It just becomes hard at a point to stop noticing that those things are there. And then when you add in on top of it that you have kids, and Let me preface this by saying that, of course, these kids are in all classes across all subjects. These kids are everywhere. But regardless, when you have kids in the class saying stuff like, oh, well, of course, the chord progression wasn't, like, all that ingenious, so of course the song has to be bad. And then you, like, feel this need to defend this song, or you feel the need to defend yourself as someone who likes the song, just more and more joy is being sapped. Just more and more little pieces of your happiness about this thing are just floating away into the ether. And by the end of that first year, I hated turning on the radio. Like, I hated turning on the radio. I hated turning on old favorite songs, because, like, I had this fear of, oh no, I'm gonna turn on the radio and some song that I really like is gonna come on, and I'm gonna hear the chord progression, I'm gonna hear the triplets, and I'm gonna, like, just completely start just attacking it in my head, and I'm not gonna be able to enjoy it anymore. And that's never something that you want to feel when you turn on music that is supposed to be making you happy or make you feel better. When you're someone like me who depends on music so much to lift and bolster your mood, you don't want to be afraid to turn it on because you think that you're gonna ruin that. Like, it's your one thing, your one cling of happiness. You don't want to mess that up. And of course, I know that that is probably something that is very deep and personal to me, but I don't think that I am so unique and quirky enough to think that I am the only person in the world who uses music as a crutch. Like, come on, there have got to be plenty of us out there who, when we're feeling down, when we're going through it, when we don't know how we're gonna pull through, we put on music. So believe me, when you're one of those people, the last thing you want to do is put on your crutch and then immediately just start picking it apart in your brain. But that's what was happening, and it was scaring me, and it was making me feel like this thing that I loved was being slowly pulled out of my hands. And eventually I just realized, you know, this is probably something that I should not do. I just more and more every day came to the realization that I am a person who wants to be able to turn on a song and just love that song. I don't want to have to feel like I have to stand on a soapbox and explain why the song is good, why the song deserves merit, why I'm not a terrible person, or maybe not even a terrible person, just why I don't have terrible taste if I like said song. You know? And again, not everyone in these circles made me feel that way, but a lot of them did. And if you were to take a wild guess and assume that every single one of those people was a man, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong, because you wouldn't be. And before it even happens in my comment section, I know not all men. I know not all men. But guess what? Some men, in fact, large numbers of some men did. And it's annoying. It's annoying. You also would not be incorrect if you assumed that these were the same groups of some men who had the overwhelmingly just infuriating and inane belief that if you're not listening to music on vinyl, are you even really listening to music? You would not be wrong. You would not be wrong. They are 100% the same some men. And as I said, these some men exist in every field. They exist in every major. They're everywhere. They are most definitely in my literature major, and if anything, they're worse on some level. It's ridiculous, but for whatever reason, I have no problem sitting in a class and, you know, picking apart a book or a piece of literature. Like, that is fun to me. Like, I have fun doing that, picking apart key components of a piece of literature and finding out why it works the way it does, what social constructs, and, like, all of that. I have great fun doing that, and I have great fun fighting with these some men who choose to pipe up about their sexist, homophobic, racial bullshit. Like, it's great fun me doing that, but it wasn't great fun for me to do it with music. You know, when I turn on a Waterpark song, or a 21 Pilots song, or a Britney Spears song, or a Jonas Brothers song, or a Death Cab for Cutie song, any song, really, I don't want to have to sit there and be like, oh, well, the triplet in the second verse, and the chord progression in the first chorus is why this song is good, and why I'm allowed to like it. It's like, fuck that! I'm allowed to like the song because I like the song. So that is why I decided to switch my major. Now, again, this is a very me experience. Of course, there have got to be millions of people who go to school for music, who take the same classes that I did, who come out of the experience loving music even more than they did before, who completely and willingly throw themselves into music careers and flourish at it. Of course, I'm just saying, chances are there is someone out there who has experienced this, who has gone to school to pursue a passion, something that they love so much, something that is such an integral part of them, and for some reason is finding themselves just so unsatisfied and maybe even downright unhappy with it. And I'm here to tell you that is completely normal. Because sometimes just because you love a thing so much doesn't mean that you should pursue it as a career. Sometimes that thing that you love so much and you're so passionate about and that you would do just about anything for, you need to just have a personal relationship with it, not so much a professional relationship with it. And that is my relationship with music. My relationship with music is purely personal. So take it from me, young person out there who is trying to study painting, or who is trying to study literature or math or science or music or whatever it is, who is finding themselves just unhappy. It's not you. It's not that you're not cut out for it. It's not that you're not trying hard enough. And it's definitely not that you don't love this thing as much as you thought you did. It's probably just this thing is supposed to be for you to have a personal, close relationship with. And that's perfectly fine. And then for all of you out there who are pursuing whatever it is that your passion is, and you are just killing it, you are having the best time of your life, you're so happy, good for you. Like, honestly, I'm so happy for you, especially if you're going into music. If you are able to go into music, go to school for music, and come out of it and have a deeper appreciation for it, love it even more, be super excited about your future career in music, I am the happiest person for you. I am your number one supporter. I am rooting for you. I want to see your articles in Rock Sound and Alt Press. I want to hear the songs that you write. I want to hear the songs you produce. I want to hear the songs you sing. Whatever it is you're doing, I want to hear about it. Like, I do. I'm not trying to discourage people from going into music. Obviously, if I was discouraging people from going into music, I wouldn't have Water Parks, I wouldn't have 21 Pilots, I wouldn't have Death Cab, I wouldn't have any of the things that I love so much. So I think that that is just something to keep in mind if you're a young person who is currently sitting in a class that should be bringing you just heaps of joy, and you're sitting there staring at the wall thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I so unhappy? Nothing is wrong with you. So that is it. That is it for today's video. Now, let me know down in the comments, have you ever experienced something like this? Have you ever gone after a passion? Have you ever gone to pursue a passion, whether it be on college level or professional level, whatever? You've gone to pursue a passion and then just found that it wasn't right. I can't be the only person who's ever experienced this. And then on a lighter note, tell me what you are pursuing that you are just so excited about and is going so well for you, and you are just so thrilled to see where it's going to take you. Tell me about all that great stuff down in the comments. I want to hear all about it. As always, thanks you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.